All right, Mr. President, what I want to do is to give you an update. The Zika virus is raging. It is certainly raging in Puerto Rico. It is expanding greatly in this country, and the state with the most infected cases is my state of Florida. I have been on this floor many times asking for the president's request of $1.9 billion to attack the Zika virus. About $800 million of that is, number one, to replace the Ebola emergency fund that they have raided since the Congress has not given them the funding in order to try to get at the problem to begin with. That's somewhere around $550 million. They need another $225 million to increase Medicaid in Puerto Rico, where it is now estimated that by the end of the year, 25% of the population of Puerto Rico, 25% will be infected, because that's where this mosquito called the Egypti mosquito that transmits the virus is raging. But beware, the Egypti mosquito, especially as we are going into the warm summer months. This mosquito is all over the southern United States. Any place that it's hot, humid, and where there is rain, because rainwater will not all dissipate. It may be a bottle cap. It may be a dishpan. It may be a bird bath. Where there is stagnant water, that mosquito will lay its larva. And that's the breeding ground to hatch the Egypti. Now, back a week and a half ago when we were here before the recess, there were approximately 1,000 cases reported in the U.S., and that included 570 in Puerto Rico and 94 in Florida. But now, here, just a little over a week later, it's already up to 1,133 cases across the country. It's up to 629, and it's up now to 107 in my state, 629 in Puerto Rico. Now, just today, 2 more cases reported by the Department of Health in the state of Florida. Bottom line is the virus is spreading, and it's spreading quickly. Not only is it spreading, but the CDC confirmed that the first Zika-related death was a 70-year-old man that died of complications in Puerto Rico. Over the break, I met with a group of Puerto Rican leaders in Florida. Puerto Rico basically does not have the resources that it needs to protect the virus. I was just over here talking to the chairman of the Senate Finance Committee, Senator Hatch, about getting the financial crisis addressed in Puerto Rico, but you see how that is spilling over into not being able to attack the Zika crisis, where it is raging out of control because of the transmission in Puerto Rico by these mosquitoes. And indeed, out of the 3.5 million population of Puerto Ricans on the island, it is estimated by the CDC that 800,000 of them could be infected by the end of this year. So, as that U.S. territory and its citizens, remember, they're American citizens, These are fellow Americans that are in trouble, struggling under the weight of crippling debt in the financial crisis, and we hadn't helped them yet. And they have a Medicaid program that is capped, and it's running out of cash. And the physician shortage is getting worse because what's happening because of the financial problems, the professionals, the doctors and lawyers and nurses, especially those in healthcare, because they cannot get compensated, they are leaving the island and going to the mainland. As a matter of fact, it's estimated that something between 85,000 and 100,000 may be leaving the island this year, coming to the mainland U.S. And by the way, the benefit of those professionals coming, they're coming, a lot of them, to Florida. But look at the gaping hole of health care that is leaving on the island. And so it seems to me that it is our duty as the senators to protect our fellow Americans and curb the spread of this virus now. And so I have introduced what the administration requested. I have had senators say that we have not given a plan for the 1.9. I have given the plan over and over until this senator is blue in the face. There is a specific breakout that I have entered in the record several times, the last of which was when we were last in session a week and a half ago. The bill has 35 co-sponsors, but unfortunately, there is not one Republican senator that is a co-sponsor. And it doesn't make sense because the spread of the Zika virus is not a partisan issue. And yet it seems to have been characterized that way. So I urge our colleagues to come together on this for the good of the American people, for their health and safety. Let's approve this $1.9 billion emergency request. This is the same kind of emergency funding request that would be in the aftermath of an earthquake or a hurricane or some other natural disaster. It is now affecting the American people. It's an awful virus, and we need to get at it and stop it before it's too late. Mr. President, I yield the floor.